What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. This is gonna be a short, simple, and sweet video. I've been getting a ton of questions. It's opening week. Game's only been out for, I think, 40 hours now. We're about a day and a half into it. I'm getting a lot of questions about my settings, how I play, what type of hitting do I use, what kind of pitching do I use, what kind of camera angles do I use when I'm hitting and pitching. I'm gonna break it all down for you guys right now so that you can be the best player that you can possibly be. All I want from this video is for you guys to maybe learn a little bit and get a little bit better. So when you go into your settings, you have your batting and your base running, and then when you hit R1, you have your pitching. When you hit R1 again, you have your fielding. The first thing I want to tell you guys, two very important notes for fielding. You want to have it on button accuracy. I believe the default is just buttons, where you just press the button and they throw it to the base that they want to go to. When you use that, it's random. Errors are random. You have no control over throwing errors. When you use button accuracy, it's gonna bring up that throwing meter, and you have to get you have to release the throw in the green for the best possible throw. It just gives you the most control when you use button accuracy. If you do not want to make errors ever, at least you don't want to make throwing errors, get good with button accuracy, and it's the most consistent way to always make your throws. The other thing that you want to have on is throw canceling. This is going to help you with base running cheese, or when you get guys in a pickle. There's always going to be that weird, this is something that's very hard to perfect in a video game, is that stop and go speed, especially in baseball when they're going back and forth in a base path. If you time it right, switching, it's pretty cheesy, and you're gonna be able to get away with some things. Throw canceling is a slight fix for that. It's a timing thing. You're gonna be able to, if you have a throw to first base preloaded, but the runner that you're chasing turns around and goes back to second, you can cancel that throw to first and then just tag them out. Throw canceling is something that you're gonna have to get locked in with if you wanna take care of that. So those are the two fielding settings that you definitely wanna have locked in. Now we're gonna talk about pitching. The default pitching view is this broadcast camera right here that you see on the screen. It's the same camera that you get when you're watching a Major League Baseball game in real life. I think this is the most aesthetically pleasing view, but keep in mind when you use this camera angle, oftentimes you cannot see a runner on second base. So if someone hits a double and he has good speed and you have to think about whether or not he's gonna steal third, you may or may not even be able to see him on the bottom of your screen. And even if you can, it's only gonna be like a little bit of the top of his helmet. You're not gonna have a clear view on that guy at second base. So because of that, I like to use strike zone 2, which is this camera angle right here. Most people use strike zone 1 camera for hitting, which we'll get to in a second. I use the strike zone camera for hitting. Go inside the mind of a pitcher, right? When you use this camera angle, you're pretty much giving yourself the same perspective as the hitter. When you pick a pitch, you can see that track on the ball, so you can track it. So there's the fastball in. Now I want to try and drop a curveball right underneath that fastball. So I want this curveball to come out in the same line as that fastball, but then break in the opposite direction. I feel like this camera angle just gives you a better perspective on pitch movement. You are in the mind of the hitter when you're in this view space. So for me personally, this is the best way to go. Now the interface, this is the topic that I get the most, because meter is the old school MLB The Show pitching format. Meter was what everyone used up until just a few seasons ago. Meter is still very good. This is what meter looks like for anyone who knows. It's kind of like kicking a field goal on Madden. You press the button, you press it again all the way at the top, and then you try and press it again on the yellow line. If you hit that yellow, the closer you are to that yellow line, the more accurate your pitch will be, and the deeper you go on the top of the meter, the faster the pitch will be. So this is another one of those setting styles that gives you as much control, is the word, over your pitches as possible. I'm gonna step off here. Pulse is a pitching style that I used to use. This was the popular pitching style on the old school 2K games. So if you select a pitch, you have this pulse meter that's bouncing in and out, and the objective is to try and get that shadow as small as possible. So I'm gonna press X, and I'm gonna try and press X when the shadow is small. I was a little bit early on that, the shadow was big. so that's gonna miss its location up, and we end up getting the pop-up. See that right there? Matter of fact, going back to the button accuracy, see that green in the middle? You hold the button until that line is in the green, and then you let go. It's actually very easy, and every single time you get it in the green, your throw will always be perfect. That's why you wanna use button accuracy. But going back to the pitching, back to the pulse hitting, right? So let's get a good pitch here. See, there's a good pitch. Even with a good pitch, if you see that slight shadow that was around the ball can go anywhere within that shadow. So for me, I feel like there's a little bit of randomness to pulse pitching, even if you get a good release. I don't like that. I like as much user control as possible. That's why I use analog pitching. So now I'm gonna show you guys analog pitching. I'm sure you've seen it before. That's how you ended up watching this video. And the objective here is to just give you the most control possible. So you're gonna start by holding the right stick down, and then you wanna flick the right stick up once you get to that yellow line. The closer you are to the yellow line, the more accurate your pitch will be, just like meter pitching. You also wanna swing your stick depending on where that red circle is. So if I wanna pitch him outside, the red circle is gonna go to the left. If I wanna pitch him inside, the red circle is gonna go to the right. If I hit that yellow line perfectly and I get the ball inside that yellow target, the pitch will go exactly where I want it to go. Let's try and do that right here. Nope, we were a little bit inside. Here, let me just go ahead and try and throw one down the middle. There we go. So that was a pretty good release, and as you can see, the ball went straight down the middle. But let's do a curveball down and in. Let's try and hit the mitt. So we're gonna go down and up. We missed a little bit to the left there, and as you can see, the pitch was a little bit more out over the plate than I had initially intended. So pitching analog along with meter give you as much control possible when you're pitching. I would use analog or meter, and I would definitely lean towards analog. Personally, there are some guys that have success with meter. I know a guy like Rival Coins uses meter pitching, and he's very good at it. So definitely personal preference, but out of all the different pitching styles, analog and meter are definitely the dominant. If you want to play competitive MLB, meter and analog, one or the other. Get used to it. Now let's talk about hitting. Again, the camera angle that I like to use is strike zone. That's this super zoomed in view. I think it just gives me the best perspective on the pitcher as possible. So the interface is called zone hitting. This is what you absolutely should be using to hit on the game. You have directional, which is an old school way of playing where you just point the stick to where you want the ball to go, and then you press the button. But again, control, control, control. If you use zone hitting, you have more control. That zone PCI is your eyes, okay? Once you get the ball inside that zone, the closer it is to the center, the higher the probability is that you're gonna hit the ball hard. With a interface like directional, it's pretty random. The only thing you can do is time your swing right by pressing the button. The effectiveness of the swing is random on an interface like directional. Whereas zone, like I said, the closer to the middle of that shadow, the better the hit will be. So you have more user control when you're using zone. The PCI can look different. The one that you saw with the full circle is called dynamic. Another really popular one is reticle. You'll see a guy like Cougs use this one where it's just the outlines on the outside. It doesn't show the entire thing. So let's take a pitch with reticle real quick just to show you guys what that looks like. I was a little bit underneath of that ball. And of course, you're under the ball, goes up in the air, so that's gonna be a fly out. Another one that's really popular is the wedge. This is one that I used all through MLB The Show 17, 2 years ago. This one has like this weird, I don't even know what to call it, but I just like it. It has that outline like reticle, but it has a dot in the middle. Gonna hit a ground ball here with the Gene Segura, but the objective is to try and get that dot in the middle. You wanna get that right on the ball. If you get that dot in the center right on the ball, you're gonna catch a barrel and the ball's gonna fly off of your bat. So for me personally, zone hitting, I like to use the dynamic PCI currently. I might switch it up this year though. You'll see videos of mine with reticle, with wedge, with dynamic. I'll definitely mix it up. For pitching, we use pure analog and strike zone 2 camera. And for fielding, we obviously, you have to have button accuracy on and you need to have your throw cancel on. That is just super, super important. It eliminates all randomness with throwing errors. You either get that throw in the green or you do not. It is not up to stats. It is up to you to release that throw as accurately as possible, and it's all about user control. If you're going to be the best player that you can be, you need to have the most user control over your players as you can. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Again, I wanted to keep this super simple, super short. I get a lot of questions at the beginning of the year from, I guess, probably most likely new people to the game that are just, why do you use this? Why do you use this? Just trying to pick my brain. Here are all my thoughts in one video, guys. Let me know what you think down below. And yeah, good luck online. The season is finally underway. We have our opening weekend coming up here in a couple of days. I'm gonna be live on Twitch Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend. I'm gonna be streaming late Friday and Saturday. Not sure what time I'll be live Sunday. We'll cross that bridge when we get there because I am going to the Phillies game Sunday night. But hang out over on the Twitch stream, guys. The link is in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm out. Peace. We're back! Episode 1 of Pack Squads for MLB The Show 19. If you're new to the channel, we do this series every year on MLB The Show. This is the best series in the community, and this is how it works. In this episode, we're going to break down all the rules. We're also going to keep the rules in the description if you ever want to go back and reread them later on. And then we're going to get our team started. We're going to get the base foundation of our squad. We're going to rip packs at the end of this episode. If we can get 2